According to reports, Biden's advisors are considering announcing Stacey Abrams as vice president right out of the gate. Axios close advisors to former Vice President Joe Biden are debating the idea of packaging his presidential campaign announcement with a pledge to choose Stacey Abrams as his vice president. Why it matters: the popular Georgia Democrat, who at age 45 is 31 years younger than Biden, would bring diversity and excitement to the ticket, showing voters, in the words of a close source, that Biden isn't just another old white guy. Breitbart reported that advisors for former Vice President Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign in waiting are debating whether to name failed gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams as his running mate, a Thursday report says. According to Axios, Biden aides believe adding Abrams to the ticket would send a strong signal to voters that he's not just another old white guy. The outlet said Team Biden isn't going all in on picking the rising progressive star just yet, worrying that the move could be received as a gimmick and open the former vice president up to a new line of attacks. The report comes after the two high-profile Democrats met last week in Washington, D.C. You'll recall, Ted Cruz did the same thing during the 2016 primary. He named Carly Fiorina as his running mate, and things didn't go so well. Watch the video. From Washington Examiner: Joe Biden's political advisors are considering failed Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams as a potential running mate in the 2020 presidential election, a move that would bring much-needed diversity to his campaign. Biden's team is debating whether to announce Abrams as his choice as he unveils his 2020 White House bid, Axios reported. One person close to the campaign said choosing Abrams, who is black, would help Biden show voters he isn't just another old white guy. But not all advisors are on board with the idea, and it's unclear what Biden thinks. Biden, 76, could be vulnerable on race once he announces his candidacy. Democratic voters seem hungry for more progressive leaders, and many women and minority candidates have already jumped into the race ahead of him. Those candidates include Senators Kamala Harris, Democrat California, Cory Booker, DNJ, Elizabeth Warren, DMAS, Amy Klobuchar, Democrat Minnesota, and Kirsten Gillibrand, DNY, as well as Rep. Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat Hawaii, and tech executive Andrew Yang. Biden currently leads those candidates by a wide margin before even entering the race. But Biden's past positions on race could get more scrutiny once he announces a run, even though he has tried to play up his civil rights record. In 1975, for example, Biden said some blacks favored segregation, and said busing is a rejection of the whole movement of black pride. And in 1987, Biden told white voters that segregationist George Wallace praised him as one of the outstanding, young politicians of America. Presidential historian Michael Beschloss noted that picking Abrams as his running mate so early would be unprecedented, as no successful modern non-incumbent presidential candidate has made such a choice ahead of the primary races. If Biden were to name his running mate long in advance of the Milwaukee convention, it might be very good politics, Beschloss told Axios. It also might ultimately provide good government. Voters in the primary process deserve to know as much as possible about the future they are opting for. Abrams, who lost a tight Georgia gubernatorial race to Republican Brian Kemp in 2018, reportedly met with Biden last week in Washington.